This video is sponsored by EA. Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today I'm going to be showing you the full process of me building a house for one of the pre-made families in the Sims 4 high school years. You might have been introduced to Ash in the trailer. They are a really cool sim, and I got to build their family's house. So we're starting on this lot here, the Town Square Terrace. I'm only on this empty lot because originally their house was supposed to be built here. This is a lot I was told I was going to be building on, but also when we first got access to the items in the game, we didn't have access to the world. So I was basing everything off of this lot. So you'll see in the footage coming up, I'm building in Willow Creek, but I put down like wood on the floor to be like, we're on a dock area. We're on like a raised platform. So that is why that looks like that. But with that, I'm going to jump into the footage there and show you the whole process of building the house for Ash and their family. So welcome to the first build I started working on for the Sims 4 high school years. At this point, I didn't have access to Copperdale yet, just the items, so I started building on a lot that's the same size and trying to figure out the general shape I wanted to go for this house, which actually came together very, very quickly. I knew I wanted to have a small entrance off to the right side and then have like an exit that comes out of the kitchen space over on the left. So I'm just trying to figure that out now and having all of the wall trims so that the roof does a little bit of an overhang over those diagonal portions. I was basing this off of a lot of real homes I've seen in real life, and I really do like how this house comes together. I feel like it feels incredibly realistic, and I was excited about this family as well. So this house is for a step sibling family. This is one of the ones that I showed interest in creating a build for. It's for parents who are remarried after a divorce. They met through their love of food, which is why the mom works as the cafeteria lady at the school, and her son is like a class clown and member of the football team that is discovering his sexuality. And then the dad's daughter is a creative fashionista that is kind of her stepbrother's confidant, and she works at the bubble tea shop as a barista. And I also got a lot more information about each of the Sims so I could try to decorate their space to match who they are. So the son is a closeted sporty type on the football team who is still discovering himself, goes about it by partying and living fast. He's friendly with everyone, but the only person he really trusts is his stepsister. He might have a crush on one of the twins in the world from a different household. But he's a fun goofball and a class clown, and he encourages his sister to step up out of her own bubble and experience life more. He also loves pranking the school, but is good-natured to everyone he meets. And then his stepsister is Ash, who is a non-binary trans femme sim. Their presentation skews feminine off-center, but they also like to present more masculine or androgynous at times. Goes by she, her to close friends and they, them to everyone else, and works at the thrift store Bubble Tea Shop and has a thriving online presence as a fashionista, creative, and lives for her art. And then for the parents, the stepdad was once divorced. He found his wife through their mutual love of food. He has since quit his job to pursue his passion, but is not helping make ends meet yet. Loves his daughter, but wishes she would break out of her shell. And then the stepmom, also once divorced. Her love of food, but lack of skill in cooking led to her becoming a cafeteria worker at the local high school. Her family may not be wealthy, but she does her best to keep them wholesome. So I thought this was such a cute idea for this family. I was very excited. We were actually told, got a document of all of the different households and like the Sims in them and all of that, and got to choose which ones we were most interested in, and then they were divvied out based on who had the most interest. And I immediately was like, this household, I need it, the step siblings, please. So I was really excited to go ahead and build them a home. While I was telling you about this family, the outside sort of came together pretty quickly, and now I'm working on the floor plan. For the most part, this stays the same. The only thing that changes a little bit between the first and second review, for the layout anyway, is the bathroom is way too small. It's a little awkward. And right here, I'm just trying to figure out like how you get into each of the rooms. But essentially, when you walk in, there is a staircase upstairs. And then other than that, you're in the living room. Off to the back on the left, we have the kitchen. And off on the right, we have the dining space. The staircase that brings you upstairs, there is a bathroom, the parents' bedroom, and the son's bedroom up there. And then there is also a staircase that is out of the dining room that leads you into the basement. which is where the daughter's bedroom is and another bathroom. And there's actually a window well that goes down there as well. So you can leave through the basement and also get natural sunlight as well. So I thought that that was very important. And that was actually something I had to explain because a lot of the team doesn't live in places where there are basements and having the need for a window well. So I was trying to explain how important it is to have natural sunlight going into the space and like what that was. But once I made that as a space that our sim could go ahead and escape from by putting a ladder down there, it all made sense and we were on board to keep that. So I thought that that was really cool. But anyway, here I am working on the kitchen space. There's no new kitchen stuff that comes with this pack, which makes sense. I wouldn't expect that with a high school themed pack. So I'm just playing around with some of the base game items, and I go back and forth quite a bit to try and figure out how I do want this to look in the end. We're just starting to place down furniture, grabbing the items. You can see in the catalog, a lot of them are like blocky yellow pieces because the assets aren't in yet. So I'm going through what we do have and trying to figure out what I want to place down. And I love this sofa so much. I think it's so cute with the blanket on it and the pattern of it. I just think it worked really well and feels like a very cozy family sofa. So that's what I ended up going with in here in the ends. And I also used one of the new dressers that came with the pack as our TV stand. I thought it just looked like a nice chunky piece of furniture. I was going for a little bit of a like homey, mismatched vibe for the inside of this house. It did say that they weren't wealthy, but they're wholesome and like a cute, like loving family. So I really wanted to capture that vibe on the interior of this house. So that is what we're doing here, just getting an armchair over in the corner, moving stuff around quite a bit because I couldn't use not live edit objects. I couldn't use that either, but I couldn't use move objects or like alt placement or anything. It was very strict to how you could build this with no sheets whatsoever. So I was able to use F5 though, which allows quarter tile placement. So you'll see at some points I turn that on to try and place things a little bit better, but not being able to use cheats was so difficult, especially because there's lots of items that I would normally raise up with like the 9 and 0 keys or scale. Not being able to scale rugs, oh my gosh, I haven't had that experience in such a long time. But anyway, the living room here is coming together. A couple of these things end up moving, but this is generally what it ends up being like. I really like the half walls I put by the staircase so that it's a little bit more structured heading up. Also because underneath the staircase is open because there's another staircase under it going into the basement. So I wanted to make sure it didn't look like there's just this giant gap when you first walked in the house. So that helped to cover that up and make a little bit more sense. But this is going to be the dining space. I just have a 4-seater dining table. Well, it's technically a 6-seater, but I don't have 6 seats at it. I put 4 at it, and then we're going to be placing one over in the corner as well. So if they had company come over, they can go ahead and pull up another chair. I should be grabbing that here shortly. I'm just trying to figure out which chairs I want to go for. I think I use these ones in the end. Yeah, so it ends up being very blue in here, and I like the colors I went with and how cozy this space feels. It's very closed off. It's got a very closed off floor plan, and I just feel like that works for the style of this house, the style of this world. So I was happy with that. There's that chair in the corner I had mentioned, and then just getting a couple more decorations on the walls so it doesn't feel so empty. Here is that really tiny bathroom that I don't know why I did this. I do end up extending it later on, and then we're going to be heading down into Ash's bedroom. I also did want to mention I am purposely using very ugly tile throughout this house, and I thought I was going to keep it, but then it turned out that we got a new tile with this pack that wasn't in yet when I started building this, and so of course I had to use that one. It's so pretty, so that will be changing, but I did use the ugly tile on purpose. I think it's gorgeous. Anyway, in Ash's room, going through a lot of the different items, trying to come up with something that fits her style. I didn't want it to be super matchy-matchy with the trans flag, but I knew I wanted to put that in here, so I just threw it down because I didn't want it to clash, but I didn't want it to look like we based the whole room off of the colors of it, if that makes sense, because that was not the intention. I was thinking like pinks and purples mostly for this space, and it's funny because I didn't get to see Ash before creating their room, and I think this room matches them so well, and I'm very excited about it. I had so much fun picking out the posters, the colors, which bed I wanted to use. I was like, okay, fashionista, we need to have like lots of clothes in here. We need to have a very stylish bed. Let's just go all out with this. And so it was a lot of fun. I also wasn't sure what curtains to use because at first, this is the only one we had for the short wall height, which I wasn't the biggest fan of. But all of them got converted to short wall height later on. It's just they weren't available yet. So I was playing around and trying to figure out what kind of curtains to put over these windows. And I went with those blinds for a bit, but they weren't working. So those do go away. I also think it's really cool that this bedside table has some swatches that have stickers and stuff on them. So yeah, I'm just moving some stuff around, getting a mirror in here, playing around with some wallpapers. We didn't have all of the wallpapers in yet, so I temporarily put this one down with the speckles from base game, and then we were working on the downstairs bathroom once again with that ugly tile that I absolutely love. So it's just pretty simple in here. I put down like a fluffy rug. I was thinking that was Ash's, and it's got everything you need in a bathroom. And at the bottom of the stairs, I just have a rug, and I put a poster on the wall. I put that because I was thinking in my home growing up, in the upstairs hallway, like leading to the bedrooms, we just had a framed poster from The Little Mermaid. And for some reason, just that idea of having some sort of poster in the hallway felt very family home-esque. So that's why I did that. And there was a little bit of confusion from the team on why that was there, but I just thought it was cute, and they said I could keep it, so I kept it. So that's like a call out to my house growing up. So anyway, we are upstairs now, and we're working on the son's room. I believe his name is Noah. When I was building for this family, the only sim that had a name yet was Ash. So that's why I will keep saying Ash, but for the rest of the family, I'm like the mom, the brother, the dad. But I believe this sim's name is Noah, so I'm working on his room now. It's supposed to be super sporty, and we got some new sport posters. We got so many new posters. I'm so excited about that. I've been asking for a very long time for some more posters. I've actually mentioned it in videos how I want some more posters for our kids and teens rooms after I already knew we were getting more posters, after I already worked on these builds. So that's kind of funny. But it's so nice to be getting some more. I was also really struggling to figure out how to fit everything in here because I wanted to make sure that the sim had a desk, had one of the new beanbag chairs, of course had a bed. I gave them a single bed because this room's a little bit on the smaller side. And, has a dresser and plenty of clutter to show off their personality and make the space look like it's being used. I know, at least for me as a teenager, my room was a disaster. I mean, who am I kidding? It's still kind of a disaster. I don't know how to keep things organized. Everything's everywhere. But I really wanted to capture that idea, but still make sure it was functional and there was no routing problems and all of that. But this is going to be the primary bedroom, the parents' bedroom. We kept it very neutral. The main focus here was to really hone in on the teen bedrooms. So this room was supposed to just have what they needed and be pretty basic to what the rest of the house looked like, but make sure there was enough contrast in here to look okay. It does change a little bit later, but not drastically. And then at the upstairs like hallway space, this landing, at first I put a chess table. I do get rid of that later and end up having a desk here instead with a computer. And I'm just playing around with chair placement and trying to figure out what to put up here because it was just very finicky. Anyway, we're back in the kitchen now and getting some clutter by the stove. I was, for some reason, really struggling between having like utensils or a, or a fruit bowl. And then we're back outside trying to figure out the colors. I also decided to add a little bit of a roof piece over the entryway, and I just love how the outside came out. I do change the colors of this, and it ends up being very green, and I just really like it. I'm very proud of this home, so I really hope you will enjoy it as well. If you play with this family, please let me know. And this is before the first review, but once I got access to Copperdale. So we're moving it to the lot now that it's going to be on, which is going to allow me to do some more landscaping. So I end up getting rid of this like flower pot area that I put over on the side so I can have a little bit more of a natural look to this area. I do change it quite a bit, so this is all going to go, but I wanted to leave in what I was thinking so you could see the whole process. So yeah, just moving around some of the trees, trying to make it blend into the area, even though the whole area is not done yet. There's like missing lots, missing trees. The world is not complete at all yet at the point of where I am building this, so I have to keep that in mind. So just figuring out a side yard over here that could be like a hangout space for the family, and getting some trees, some more plants. And I was just playing around with it. It was the first time I actually had this lot on a lot that had grass. Oh, also you can see that this lot doesn't quite go up to the sidewalk, and I noticed that immediately, and I messaged them and was like, hey, can we fix this? And they fixed it, so that was really exciting. So you'll see in future clips after future reviews, and like I got a different version updated, that this lot will all of a sudden go up to the end of the lot. There's not that little gap there. It was driving me crazy, so I had to ask. And yeah, they were able to update that, so I was really happy about that. But just grabbing a picnic bench out here as well as a barbecue and stuff. I ended up getting rid of those because the team thought it looked too much like what you would see at a park. So I did get rid of that in the end. I had originally placed it like that because that's what I had growing up in my yard. We had a picnic bench. So that's just what I thought of, but I know not everyone has the same experiences. Anyway, over here, I'm working on the window well, making it a little bit wider and then getting some trees around it. And I should be getting a ladder, or maybe not yet. Maybe I don't get the ladder yet, or I should be soon. I'm not entirely sure because I'm pretty sure this is after the first review or close to it right now because that's when I made the size of it bigger. Yeah, this is right after where I am updating the outside as well. All of that landscaping is now gone. I'm trying to make it look a little bit more put together and less random, I suppose. I wanted it to be a little bit more structured. So that is the current project, grabbing some more plants to put in a structured garden bed in the front. And we also have our fence there, painting the walkway. And I ended up adding some monkey bars. Those don't stay either because there's no kid in this household. But my thought process was, they were there from when they were kids. And you just didn't get rid of the monkey bars. But apparently that was a no-go. So those two end up going, and I get a different table and chairs. So it's not a picnic bench, but we still have a barbecue, a couple of planters out here. It's a nice space for your Sims to hang out, have a little cookout outside. So I thought that worked out pretty well. And then just figuring out some more of the landscaping. And this area just took me a really long time. I think it was because of the lack of move objects and the limited space of the lot with all of the things that I needed to include. So it was a lot. But I love how this build came out in the end. So it's totally okay. It's fine. I also end up having to create like a little pathway, or I don't have to, but I did create a little pathway leading from the front of the house over to the area where the window well is. I didn't do that yet though. Right now I'm just adding some plants over there that I end up getting rid of in the end because I haven't added the ladder yet that I keep mentioning, but it's not there yet. But here I am in the son's room again, messing around with some of the colors, adding some accent walls, making it a little like pop a little bit more, have a little bit more personality to the space, and getting a bedside table as well, or at least trying to. Moving stuff around without move objects is so frustrating, and I really wanted to keep the curtains there, but they couldn't clip with the bed, and so I was just moving everything around, trying to figure out the best way to lay everything out. You can see all of the red happening as I'm rotating things and trying to move it, and I end up moving stuff into the hallway and outside for a moment while I try and figure out the placement. So I end up having the desk over there in the corner, and then we have the dresser over on the other side of the room over here. And I think I got rid of the bookcase in the end. I might have moved that to the hallway and left it there, which I think is a good spot for it anyway, so all of your Sims can utilize the bookcase. But yeah, just moving some more stuff around in here, getting posters and that pile of sports equipment. We have clothes on the floor and, a mirror, some more posters, all of that. Just making updates to this room based on routing issues, as well as just adding a little bit more variety and color into the space. And trying to add as much clutter as I wanted, knowing that some of it might go away. But getting like my original vision in there so that I could have as much of a say in it as I possibly could. Knowing that some of it might not stay based on performance. But anyway, this is back into the primary bedroom. We're just changing the colors a little bit to add some more contrast in here. Now we have some darker colors with that white accent wall, getting some lighter curtains, and I think this worked out really nice. I decided to put that painting above their bed of like a vacation-esque space, like islands and beautiful palm trees and stuff, because it did note that this family is not very wealthy, but they try to stay wholesome and stuff. And I was thinking it would be really cute if the parents had a dream of going on like a nice tropical vacation at some point, So they have that picture above their bed of going on a little vacation. That was the idea anyway. I just thought it was really cute. So that's why that's there. But here we are at the top of the staircase, updating it a little bit to add a area for a desk and a computer and just like a little seating space. There's some books and stuff up here. I thought having a family computer would be a nice idea. I'm trying to remember if Ash got a computer as well, but we're back in Ash's room now. And I'm adding a door out into that window well area. There actually ends up being a couple of things out there as well for them to hang out in that space. So I add a table and a like beanbag out here. I think it's pretty cute. It's really simple. It's a very small space, but having some of this as well as, I believe I grabbed a tapestry to hang up out here as well. Yeah, that one. I just thought it was really cute. And then grabbing this chair that has like a blanket or a piece of clothing thrown over it, I thought was quite nice. And then we're back outside again because I'm just keep making updates based on the feedback. And so now we're finally adding that ladder to the space and I'm getting a little pathway to it. Like I had mentioned earlier, finally getting to it. It's really weird having all of these things happen, but I don't remember exactly when they happen or when I'm going to get to them because this was built over a very long time. There was like weeks between meetings and making updates. So just, fiddling with everything, making sure the placement is okay. Updating a couple of things in the various rooms. We're back in Noah's room again, getting rid of some of the clutter and making sure nothing was in the way so the sim could route properly. And then trying to get a curtain over here that doesn't clip with the desk. So it has a different curtain. And now we have more curtains in. So I was able to pick out some cute ones for Ash's room. And I believe we should be changing some of the wallpapers down here as well. Plus finally hanging up some clothes on that clothes rack because those weren't in for a long time. I had the rack, but it didn't have the clothes. They do snap like the ones from Dream Home Decorator. So yeah, I ended up using this like dripping swirl background that I also used in the boba shop, which I think is so pretty, and changing some of the colors in here. And it's so pretty. It's purple and blue and adorable. And then outside, I'm just adding some more trees and making it more of a hangout space. So it looks like, the teens could come out here and just like chill at night. And I added this little wall, but I ended up moving some of that later because I realized your Sims couldn't walk over that. And I had planters there that they would kind of need to access in order to use. So I will be getting rid of that or changing it slightly before the final version. But we're about to pop into that tour of this final build. So I really do hope you enjoyed this. We're just getting a couple more landscaping pieces and checking around the lot a few more times to make sure we have everything we need for this build. And let's tour this house. Alrighty, here is the final build of Ash's house. They're right outside here, looking super cute. I love this sim, and it's so cool to actually see them in the game now, especially because I did not know what she looked like when I was building her room. I had to go off of like a description, and I think I did a pretty good job. I think it looks like it is their room for sure. So anyway, this is the house you can see from the outside. I went with like a style that I thought would fit with this world. It's a pretty simple looking house. We have a main entrance and then a side entrance off of the kitchen, a little space outside for the family to sit down and do like a barbecue or something. And then if you go right inside, not all the way down, we'll see that in a bit. You can see there's a little bit of a hole in the ground over here. It's like a window well, if you're not familiar with that. In a lot of places where there are basements and you want to have livable space down there, there'll be like a little bit of a hole in the ground with like fencing around it to put windows down there to allow natural sunlight into the basement area. Anyway, if you walk right inside, it looks like the mom of this family, Ava, is sitting here on the couch. So we have a little TV, this adorable couch from this new pack. I love this. It feels a little dated with the pattern, which is why I picked that one. And I love how it looks. And we have the staircase upstairs right as you get in. And then through this way, we have our little kitchen as well, which I think came out pretty cute. I was pretty happy with that. And then our dining space through here as well. We have a nice little chair in the corner to pull up for additional seating, and our downstairs half bath. So I guess we'll go upstairs first. So if you go up the stairs, we have a little landing here with a computer desk and like a place to sit and a lamp. I did not place that lamp down, so I think that's pretty interesting. I put a base game one because I don't think we had access to this one when I was building, which I think is really cool. I do really like this lamp, but it's very interesting to see the things that ended up being changed. They're all super minor, but it's fascinating fascinating. Anyway, this is the upstairs bathroom, and then through here we have Noah's room, who I really like Noah's room. I think it came out super cute. I love the concept of like being super into sports, and we have like some school pride down here with the rug. I just love the colors in here, and I was really happy with how his room came out. And then this is the parents' bedroom. We just wanted it to be neutral and similar to the rest of the house. Nothing too bright. It was supposed to be a house where the teenagers' bedrooms shined. So you might notice we haven't seen Ash's room yet, and that's because down here in the, oh, hello, somebody's coming up from downstairs. But down here in the dining space, there's a staircase down into the basement, and when you get down here, there is a bathroom and Ash's room, which I think is my favorite room in the entire house. I had so much fun with this. I would have loved this room. I'm using all of the wrong buttons right now, but I would have loved this room as a teenager. It's very like purple, pink, and black. We have a like computer setup over here, lots of makeup, clothing. Ash is like so into fashion and being like an online influencer, so I wanted to incorporate all of that into her room. She's a macro simfluencer, which is really fun. It's just a very like designed space, and there's also a little door out here for some hanging out in the window well, and a ladder if they want to, you know, escape a little bit and sneak out in the middle of the night. I just really like how this room came out. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this build. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and watching this process. I hope you really enjoyed it. I had so much fun building this for the Sims 4 high school years. I hope you enjoy playing with it, and yeah, I think that's all I have. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see all of the builds that I have done for this expansion pack and just builds in general, because I post a lot of them here on the channel. So thank you so very much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Bye!